Yeah, let's have the Amiga games republished, you know? The MAME arcade machines. Arcade one up, huh? You guys in the chat arcade one up? Let's see a Gundam machine. Yeah, the old MAME one, right? Yeah. All right, I think I'm good on my side finally. Maybe. You do not have permission to touch this game. Scott McCloud. Speaking of crazy though, did you sign up for the Mecha Break open beta? That's next week. I believe the correct pronunciation is G Quacks. G Quacks, yes. G Quacks. Yeah, one thing that's always kind of awkward with like these revisionist 079 stories are like, you know, the first time we go through this, there's one Gundam. And by now, there's like how many different Gundams were around in that year? Like 20, 30, 50, you know? It's like we have this whole calendar of like all these years to choose from. Like, let's see something in a different year for a change, you know? Cheekwax. I swear, the first time I saw that name, I thought like they got to be messing with us here. Like this has to be a joke or a meme or something. Like they definitely look better in model than they do in drawing. Cheekwax. Yeah, I don't know if you ever played like the Dynasty Warrior games, the Gundam ones. But man, like when you play those games on hard mode, it's just like all the enemies just become sponges. You know, you're sitting there for like 5 minutes hacking and slashing. Yeah, they're kind of boring. Well, yeah, Sunrise definitely has a hand in everything, but when it comes to this relationship with Kara, like the level of trust there is unparalleled to any other previous collaboration. Well, I mean, technically, there is one other time where they were kind of this hands off, and that was when they did G Savior, which I'm sure you're very familiar with. Didn't you recently watch G Savior? Yeah, just Sunday, you said. Yeah, it's overhated. It's definitely overhated. Right, right. Yeah, you'll also see those used again, of course. Well, you are a Sentai fan, right? I forget exactly which series it was. Might have been Power Rangers Lost in Space or something like that. They use those costumes again in Power Rangers, and it's the same guy who designed those costumes who also designed the outfits for Daft Punk. Yeah, same dude. All right, I'm on Mr. Miggle Zebra. If you're still hanging out with us, if I can make a bit of a selfish request, would you mind jumping on my side of the stream and just double checking and seeing if the audio is good over there? Because I feel like a dunce right now setting up this stream. Yeah, I thought it was. I have my Facebook set up. I thought it would just be like straight 1-to-1, and now I'm finding out it is not. Yeah, I love War in the Pocket. That's one of my favorites. Now I don't know if I did this proper, but there should be a way because we're doing stream together where we're like linked with each other, or am I just a fool here? I just heard my echo for a second. Good. Right.
No.
No, they're
They didn't even give me like
well,
a
I'm in New York
just.
City. We're playing them all the time. There's like a million screenings.
Oh yeah. Yeah, in my hangar out here, yeah, there's no screening and I was like, "Oh." So I'll have to look around and check again. But like cuz they have like the website or whatever, the G Kids, I think, cuz that's who's doing the distribution, and they just said no. It just says, "Sorry, there's no screenings available." And I was like, "Oh, okay. Thanks." Let's see. All right. I guess we'll try stopping the. Oh, we'll go to Loom. We'll go to Loom, as long as they don't make me fly like a saberfish or something. Because yeah, no thanks. Uh, but no, I'm looking forward to it. So I don't know if I'll catch it theatrically. Have they said when it's airing? Is it April?
For wait, what were we
I
talking
have
about?
uh G Quacks.
Yeah, G-Quacks. Yeah, it's
All
supposed to
right,
be coming out in April. I think April 15th.
April 15th. Okay, so that's actually near. when Gundam debuts. That's fun, and I think that's also intentional as well. Definitely. Um, but yeah, that attention to detail of them uh putting that out is kind of wild. Yeah, it's like next week. Yeah, 27th. Ooh, in your theater? Hell yeah, you got to get
Right.
tickets. I guess we'll try
Yeah, because it
stopping
looks
the.
good.
It
We'll
looks
go to
good. I don't
Loot.
know. I
As long
wonder,
as you
is
don't
it
make me
just
fly like a
like the
saberfish
first
or
what 2 or 3
something.
episodes thrown together, uh,
I'm
with
I'm
like
not
editing? I
entirely sure, but
wonder.
I think it's like one of those like compilation esque things, which isn't unique for Gundam, of course.
No, that's par for the course. Certainly, definitely par for the course. I just wonder if it's if there's any editing extra done to make it a theatrical release, or if it's just like here's the first 3 episodes, credit, opening, and all, uh,
Well,
or
I
not.
doubt they're gonna be adding anything, but yeah, I think it's
I
just
would hope
straight up
not.
like they're just editing out the intros and outros, and that's pretty much it.
Okay. Ooh, there you want it for the showing a shorts counterattack? There you go. That's a hell of a good time right there. That's a hell of a good time.
Unfortunately,
Uh
when I saw Counterattack, a lot of people in my theater expected it to be dubbed, and they were like
oh.
audibly complaining in the theater, like "Put the English on," and it was like, "You're
Oh,
embarrassing me, guys."
that's annoying. I did something nefarious long ago. I tricked my friend into going to see Shards Counterattack with me because I didn't want to go by myself. And I was like, yeah, it's gonna be in English. Not telling him it's gonna be in like
Psych.
subtitled.
Yeah, the
Yeah, it's like
written text is
it's
English.
yeah, it's technically in English. And
But like, have you seen? You saw NT, right? Narrative.
I haven't watched that yet.
Oh well,
I'll be
to
honest.
be
I
honest, you're
haven't
not really
watched it,
missing anything. But
but I've
when
heard.
NT came out, that came out in theaters as well, way back when,
Yeah.
and that was a movie that at least in my theater and from where I saw it in Manhattan in Times Square, and
Yeah, yeah.
I think a lot of people who went to see that maybe didn't ever see a Gundam movie before or really
Oh,
knew
no,
what was
that's not the
going
one to
on.
go see.
Oh, it was a terrible experience because everybody in the theater was like, "What's this? What's going on? Why is it not dubbed? Well, who are these people?" Like it was such a
Why does she wanna be a
confusing,
bird?
yeah, bird.
Oh,
Uh,
bird.
it was such a
Oh
confusing
god. Hey,
experience for
Persephone.
people.
That sounds incredibly confusing. Oh, that sounds yeah. So, I'm here with Oliver of Gundam Mobile Suit Posting, playing some Gundam Encounters in Space. Hope you're doing well today. Yeah, trust the AMV for Vigilant. So I need for narrative? Ooh. Yeah, because they introduced narrative into Super Robot Wars with 30. So I got like a taste of it. I like that song. Yeah, I think it's Vigilant. I like that song. I was like, oh, this is it's good background music. Okay,
And the
that's it.
Sinanju
The
Stein is a
AMV is
pretty
better than the
cool
actual
look. It's a
movie.
cool look.
Yeah, it's neat. I like the Grayson Anju. I don't know. I have to like it gets kind of dumb, but I have to like really like hold back and go, okay, yeah, it makes sense they have a Neo Zeong too. That's totally fine.
And that's a cool
I
look
mean,
too. That's a cool look too.
it it's neat. I'll admit.
You
Yeah,
know,
but it's like, where was this hiding?
you know Jordan Boyega, I think his name is from the Star Wars movies. The guy who played Finn.
Yeah, John Boyega.
Yeah, when
Yeah,
he went to Japan after the Force Awakens came out, the only thing he
yeah.
bought as like a souvenir was the NT Neo Zeong HG.
Oh my god,
And there's pictures of him on Instagram where he's like sitting in this hotel room with this giant microwave sized
giant box.
box.
Yeah, huge box. Yeah. Oh my god, the NT as a prototype, it works for me. I'm not a big fan of them making 1,000 prototypes of suits we've already seen prior. But I do like the NT. The NT, I think the A loadouts is one of those. Of course, every has like 4 loadouts, 3 or 4 loadouts. I do like the A loadout, and it does look like a predecessor to the new Gundam, and it's also like visibly like incomplete, worse, if that makes sense, to the new Gundam. And you go, oh, okay, because
Oh,
Gundam's had a bad,
that's the
like they've
best
had
when
a
you
bad
look at a
case of
model
that.
kit and you can see like the history of the mobile suit
Yeah,
and the design in there.
and you go, okay, you see the vision, you go, all right, I see how we got from this to that, right? You can see the improvement they made with the new Gundam, which you should be able to see, right? Some of those that's where like it grinds my gears with the Advanced Zeta stuff. I feel like they're the worst about it, where they have much better prototypes than what they ever fielded in Zeta Gundam, and you go, this is really the same series? We're supposed to believe like this all happened? Okay. I don't know.
No, you hit
Maybe
the
that's
nail
just
on the
me,
head. You hit the nail on the head.
right?
Right.
Yeah, it's like where where did you get all this?
Yeah, no,
I don't
that's the
know.
big problem I have with 79. It's just it's like we're
Yeah,
now the Psycho Zaku existed at the same time as the original RX 78. It's like make it make sense, like come on.
make it make sense. Yeah. And then you get, real crazy stuff, right? With like the full armor Gundam. Did it even exist?
Yeah, just don't
Because
abbreviate
the
that.
the don't abbreviate it. No, 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 no. Yeah, you won't get far. Um, yeah, like Gundam Battle Operation 2 does. Which would work better as a sequel to Unicorn? Stuff taking place. Yeah, they just have to see, and that's my thing with Unicorn. I like Unicorn. I do like it, but it's in a weird spot. It's a midquel, right? Because it's taking place. It's a sequel to Char's counterattack, but it's still before F91, and we're still like believing F91 happens, even though it's seemingly forgotten. Like it still happened, along with Victory. I like I like the late UC stuff. I know it's small but dedicated fan base. Although I'm also one of those. I'm even worse. I'm not a big fan of Crossbone, but I think it's more so I'm salty they skip over the Cosmo Babylonia Civil War. We never see that. You never get the sequel to F91.
F91 was another one I saw in theaters, but like
Oh, that'd be awesome.
yeah, with Crossbone, I mean that's like a love I have, but it's almost a meme at this point that we're never gonna get a Crossbone
Oh, it's never gonna
movie.
happen.
Never gonna
No,
happen.
no, it's
But
never gonna get animated.
the funny thing with F91 is I think everybody who watches F91 has the same experience, and that is
Yeah,
we always go in and we're always like, I don't really remember this that well, but I remember not liking it. And then we watch it, and the first like 10 or 20 minutes, we're like, hey, this is great. Like, what? Why do I not? Why does nobody like this?
yeah,
This is fantastic. And then once like those pacing issues come in, and then it starts like meandering a little bit in the middle, it's like, all right, now this is kind
yeah.
of getting a little boring. Like,
And you go, where are we again? Oh, right, side one, and they redecorated it now, and it's snowing. Okay, sure.
why
It kind of
not?
gets out there, and then the ultimate blue balls of to be continued at the end of it, and like okay, to never then be continued.
Yeah, why you lying?
Yeah, why you lying? Yeah, and then the pirate look, right? That's the thing too that I don't understand. Right? There's one throwaway line in F91 about the Crossbound Vanguard being pirates, which doesn't make a lot of sense. It really doesn't. In F91 at least, the Crossbound Vanguard's like look, feel really has nothing to do with pirates. Outside of like there's a skull and bones on their insignia. Like the suit design, if anything, is more knight like. It's more like Western armor, which is pretty cool. I like that aesthetic. It's a great aesthetic that we kind of got with the Seed Destiny movie or Seed Freedom, which was
Yeah.
neat. I like, we got that. But then it's
Can
like
I
they took
make
that
a
one line and they're like, yeah, we're just gonna make them actual space pirates with like a space pirate ship because I don't know what the thought was there, or if the intent was to always have them be space pirates. Because if that was the mission, they failed in F91. It didn't work because nobody thought they were pirates,
I
except for I guess the Zabine there with the eye patch.
I still
But
haven't seen
I mean,
Requiem for Vengeance yet on Netflix.
it's fun. It's all right. You know, it's okay. It's a little side story. Again, it's more 0079 stuff. It's more 1 Year War, and it's in a weird place once again because they put it smack dab right before Odessa Day.
Mm,
So it's
awkward.
like, okay, we know exactly what happens here. Um, it's a fun story. I liked it. The ending was not great. Um, I was like, I don't, the ending kind of spoiled it for me. I was like, okay, you had it and you dropped it. But it's neat. It's fun seeing the Gundam almost like a slasher villain chasing down this Xeon group as they're trying to get off of Earth.
Very Jason
Post
Voorhees.
Odessa. Yeah, very very much so. So that's cool. It's a very very cool idea, and they actually do a pretty good job of trying to tie it into some of the themes of Gundam. We get some new type stuff. I'm like, oh, nice, because I wasn't expecting it one bit, right? Uh, you know, because usually a lot of these side story stuff they kind of shy away from that.
I don't understand the
F
hate
ninety
people have for the
one.
new type concept. I love the new type concept.
It's what makes Gundam Gundam.
Yeah, people are
It's
like,
what makes
"Oh,
Gundam
space
Gundam, right?
magic." Boo. It's like,
Okay, what about Star Wars?
well,
With the space wizards
space
and
magic
their
is cool.
robes. It's cool. Exactly. It's cool, right? I don't get that. Oh, it's not gritty anymore. Well, you can go watch, I guess, Legend of Galactic Heroes. It's always been there. Yeah, day one, it's been there. I want to say they name drop new types like in the first 15 episodes, I think, maybe even sooner. I think it's less first 10 episodes. They name drop new types. They don't do the best job introducing new types in the original Gundam. I'll be honest. It's probably one of the faults of that show. Uh, Space magic, autism, it's the most Tomino thing in the universe. It is. It absolutely is. Right. Um, yeah, I think that's one thing. If there's one thing I could fix with Gundam, it would probably be that. But
What,
I'm
space
also one of
magic?
those space magic. No, them introducing new type stuff sooner
Oh yeah,
into
yeah, for
Mobile
sure.
Suit Gundam because it's kind of it feels like it's shoehorned in. I mean, they sprinkle it in like early in the show. They're like, oh, this kid's a natural. He might even be a new type. But everyone's like, what's a new type? And no one really knows what that is. Which makes sense in story, right? It makes sense in universe because the new type theory is still kind of being figured out. Xian Daikun talked about it, but no one knows what that really entails, right? We've not seen a true new type. And I guess you could argue we've never seen a true new type. I don't know if you want to get real pedantic with it or whatever. Um,
People who argue that Char's not a new type, and it's like, come on, guys.
he used the Zeong. That's something. Sazabi has funnels, his new type. And that's the thing too. Everyone tries to like power level new types. And there's no ranking. I mean, video games introduce a ranking the new type, like new type class or whatever. Um, that's never in the show. In the original series, like the original run of UC stuff, like Tomino's written Gundam, like there's no like, oh, he's a high class A rank new type. He's only a C power level new type. That's not a thing. That doesn't
N-
exist.
Nerds with their power scaling.
It's it. I get it, and I'm sometimes guilty of it too. But it's also just like, just watch the show, man. It's like if the writer, you know, if the writing room says this thing happens. My cousin this morning was still bitching about it was Common Writer, the Showa vs Heisei movie, which isn't very good, but Stronger beating, I forgot who it was he beats. Somebody. He's like, oh, this guy's like faster than the speed of light. I mean, yeah, but Common Rider Stronger is stronger. It's in the name. It's right there. It's got to be stronger.
Do you
What else would
remember
he be?
that one Kamen Rider movie, a Kamen Rider versus all the Sentais, when like Kamen Rider Decade single-handedly beats everybody?
No,
What one was that? I forget which one. But like,
don't remember which one that is.
it's kind of funny with like Kamen Rider and Super Sentai when like a classic hero shows up. It's like, oh, the legend is here to help us. Yeah, we got it. If like an
Superhero
NT,
Tyson. Thank you.
if NT like the RX-78 showed up, they'd be like, get that old junk out of here. Like you're not helpful, Grandpa.
Yeah, yeah, they tell you off. It's like, oh, you're here in a yeah, you're here in a Rickdom. Who cares? Get out. Yeah, the Gundam. Oh, if the Mark II showed up, which that'd be super cool. They still exist. Yeah, if the Mark II showed up, it'd be like, what are you doing here? Go home. You're drunk.
Yeah, you're drunk, Amuro.
Go
Go
home.
home.
Yeah,
You
yeah, go.
stupid Canadian.
Yeah, yeah. Canadian. There's debate about that too, whether Amuro's American or Japanese, which is weird.
I believe in the original books that Tamino himself
Yeah,
wrote, it says Prince Rupert Island. So
I
that's
think
Canadian to
so.
me.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. Like the white base's path, right? Where they go. Uh, oh, Jim Custom, sick. Uh, but I want to say in the origin manga,
Which is
because things
amazing.
are reshuffled around. It's good. It is good. Um, it ends up landing close to Japan, and it's like okay, like that scene,
Right.
that bit there where he goes home,
And that is such a great
which I
moment with
it's an
his
incredible
mom.
moment
Yeah.
with his mom. It's incredible, right? Where he goes home and he finds the feds have occupied his house and they're having that drunk party, and in the dub they're listening to "Here Comes Char."
Yeah, like I guess I'm a little bit of a
Unbelievable.
weird Gundam fan in that sense because like it's those kind of moments and like the whole new type stuff like that's what I love the most about the franchise like that we have these kind of scenes, where it's like
They're so nuanced, and you don't see other anime do that.
no.
Even Gundam doesn't do that. You haven't seen I've not seen a scene like that in Gundam since Gundam, and that's why I still argue that it's one of the best in the franchise to this day, possibly possibly the best still, right? That might be a bit of a hot take, and this is coming from a diehard like Zeta fan. Like Zeta is my favorite show, but I would still argue that Mobile Suit Gundam is possibly the best in the series. Like there's a lot of things that haven't been done since then, right? Which maybe we'll see again. And
Hopefully.
G Quack,
G
hey,
I mean, and Zeta
hey,
though, but Zeta's a masterpiece for sure.
it's a masterpiece, 100%. They take everything and bring it to the next level. There's so much to that show. Um,
Were you
because I mean,
did you see
you
the
know,
compilation films for Zeta?
I haven't watched. I've seen clips. I've not watched those. Because I mean, I've heard they're pretty good, but it's messy
Yeah, and
as like
it's
a
they have a weird
narrative,
crop to them. Like everything is
right?
like zoomed in. It's
Because the
weird.
show is in 4:3 and they're trying to do a 16 by now widescreen sort of thing for theatrical release, which makes sense. Oh, I just died. I am
Mission failed.
damn okay. I am, I'm not a fed here. Jeez. Most staying power? It does. Of any anime, quite possibly. It's quite possibly. I would say it's up there. Mobile Suit Gundam's up there with like Dragon Ball Z.
Nah, not even because Gundam has
Not e-
10 years on Dragon Ball Z.
it does. It does. Um, and staying power is insane. I
Yeah,
mean, I
I
don't
mean,
think there's any other
culturally
anime.
speaking, right? There's like Astro Boy, but like, how many people are really going
Sure,
back and rewatching the original Astro Boy?
few. And I would say
Yeah,
there's not a lot of Astro Boy merch coming out. We
yeah.
just got uh the remake of the original 144th scale Gundam kit, which I need to pick up by the way. Um, we're still getting stuff for Gundam. There's still a love for Mobile Suit Gundam, um, which is insane. No, I agree, and I don't think there's many shows that hold that relevance to this day, and still have new fans coming to watch it and still being wowed, right? Because people bemoan like, oh, the animation is not the best, and it's like there's some scenes that are rough. Uh, although I feel like people cherry pick a lot of the like quote unquote quality screen caps. All of the a lot, not all, but a lot of those are from Doan's Island, which isn't even in the current rotation of episodes these days.
Right, right. Well, did you see the
It,
Doan's
it's
Island movie?
I'm really bad. I've not seen that movie. I want to. I haven't had the chance to sit down and watch it. Ooh, Gym Sniper
I
2,
I hated the
Reconnaissance of
movie to be
Granada.
honest with you. I thought it was
Really?
boring, and there was more little kids crying in it than there were Zaku's. It was
That's kind of sad.
yeah. It had a weird
Yeah,
priority, I guess, for children crying scenes. But
interesting.
well, with Gundam, Yaz, who was the key animator, he was hospitalized during production, and
That's the
so
episode he missed.
yeah, there was a good chunk he missed, and they had to like Tamino had to like step in and start animating stuff, and that's why a lot of those episodes have like really chunky looking keyframes and weird off scale RX
Yeah.
78s because it was like, when your animation director's in the hospital, like what are you gonna do?
Yeah, exactly. What are you gonna do? So, and I I get because I mean, it's a rough quality episode. I've seen Dolan's Island. I like the episode though, like the story structure and like what's going on in it. The writing's actually well done.
Yeah.
Like it's not a content wise, not a bad episode. Ooh, I got the sniper rifle for the gym sniper too. All
I mean,
right.
for me, like Gundam's
Let's.
kind of on the same level as like Godzilla, where like I kind of
Oh
rank
yeah.
everything on a curve. You know what I mean? Where it's like, if this was
Mm.
a normal movie, I'd say maybe it's boring, or if this was a normal movie, I'd complain. But because it's Godzilla, because it's Gundam, it's automatically good. You know what I mean? Like I automatically like it.
I I'm in the yeah, I'm kind of the same way. I'm kind of the same way where I have a heavy bias of like, yeah, it's gonna be awesome. So when I walk out of something and I'm like really disappointed, I'll go, oh wow, like what did everyone else think of this thing? You know? All right, let's pretend I'm in a good gym sniper too. I'm not one of the jobbers coming out of Scarlet Team, all right? This isn't 0080. Definitely not gonna get jobbed on uh by the Comfer.
And Miguel Zebra agrees with me with Doan's Island, by the way.
Yeah, with the kids ruining it, because the kids were good in that episode, right? But again, you're taking content of pretty much a 22-minute TV show episode, and trying to make that a 2 hour movie. Is it a 2 hour movie?
Well, I don't. I
I
forget.
can't
It felt
remember.
like a 3 hour movie, but
Oh
they
God,
accentuated the wrong features from that episode.
yeah, they had special characters. Well, did they? Oh, that's funny. Oh wait, what the hell? The excuse me, we have the brow bro here. What the hell? Okay, I was not expecting this to show up.
That moon is a really
Okay,
cool texture in this game, like how it looks, how they,
yeah, it is.
for PS2, like
It's
I
a good
really
looking
like the
game.
look of this game. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's got a good visual design. And that's the thing too, right? I feel like art direction in video games is kind of lacking these days. This might be like old head talking, but like, they just go fidelity, high fidelity,
Now that I think
it doesn't
about it,
matter how it, you
I
know,
wouldn't be surprised if that moon is just like some NASA archive picture that they
it
just
very
threw
much
in the
could be.
game.
It very much could be. Oh, you're cooking? Ooh, what you cooking,
Because you look at
Persephone?
that moon, and that moon is way too detailed to imagine one guy with, going in pixel by pixel designing that or something.
Just drawing it? Yeah, no, it very much could be like a stock thing. Ooh, the taxi conversation Hathaway? Oh, that is actually Kino. 100%. That is Kino. And someone was like, "Oh, it's overrated." I'm like, it's not overrated. Like that is a Kino scene,
So
which is why
Hathaway
I'm so
takes place
excited
in
for
the
Hathaway too.
Philippines, right? I
We're
had a
we're getting a
friend.
Jolly Bee. We're getting a
Yeah.
Jolly Bee Nendoroid.
Oh,
I
I'm
gotta
gonna do
pick it
so
up.
many terrible things to that thing. But
He's gonna live right next to the Penelope and Z Gundam.
I'm gonna
Oh
make
no,
him into
sorry.
this. I'm gonna use that head for the Sazabi.
That's perfect.
But anyways, with Hathaway, because it takes place in the
Yeah.
Philippines, I watched it with a friend of mine who's really active in like Philippine politics, and he said
Yeah.
that taxi scene from Hathaway was like the most accurate thing he's ever seen in an anime, of like just the
Oh wow.
political feeling in the Philippines and all that. Like
Mm.
that scene is really really good, and it's
Yeah.
so
It's
true.
it's
It's
an
painfully
incredible scene.
true.
It
You know
is.
what? After we're
Ooh, I
done
can be a
streaming, I'm
new
gonna
type.
watch that movie by myself real quick, just
It's a
to
it's a
remind
good
myself.
movie, right?
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
It's so good, and I don't know why they waited so long on making a sequel. I don't know what the behind the scenes kerfluffle there was or what, or if it's just focus on other projects and it just like they just shelved it for a moment. I don't know what the deal was because we've had a lot since, right? He's had Hathaway, then we got the Dolan's Island movie, uh, we got G Witch, we got the Seed Freedom movie. Now we're doing G Quacks.
What do we have here
We
in the
did Requiem for
comments
Vengeance.
here? Hold on. I'm making some
Yeah.
Asian
Ooh,
thing. It is
Asian
supposed to
thing. Ooh,
be like
nice.
the inside of a spring roll, but you eat it alone.
Ooh,
Has ground
ground
turkey,
turkey.
mushrooms, shredded
Ooh,
broccoli, cabbage, etc. Going to add some Asian flavors.
ooh, that
And then
does
our
sound nice.
boy Zebra says, I really want to know what made it unadaptable for them so long.
Yeah, I don't know either. Yeah, I wonder if it was was it a content thing? Was it length? Right. I wonder what the deal was. Um.
I can't think of a better example off the top of my head, but that might have the record for longest time between original source material and adaptation, because that book was 89 and the
I
movie
think
was
so. Yeah.
21, so that's a
Yeah.
long time.
so long. And this might be the longest time between sequels for Gundam.
Oh yeah, that's for
Damn
sure.
near.
But then again,
Yeah,
Tamino's
damn.
not doing too well these days. He walking around with a cane and
He's
all
not.
that.
Yeah, he's getting up there.
Getting
He's
up
getting up
there.
there. He ain't a spry young chicken. But he's you might need to correct me on this. You got to correct me on this. Um, he's not all that involved anime of with the anime movie trilogy of Hathaway's Flash here, right?
No, he's the
He's not
director.
directing.
Yeah, he's the
Is he
director.
directing?
Yep. I mean, he's not really that involved with like the other things going on, like G Quacks and Seed and all that.
No.
But if there's anything at Sunrise right now that he's the most hands on with, it's the Hathaway movies. And
Okay,
I
'cause
don't know
I
if you
didn't think he was
read
directing those.
I don't know if you read his most recent interview he did, but let me tell you, brother, it is bleak. Like the only thing he
Hmm.
talks about in the whole interview is about how he's preparing for death and stuff, and
God.
it's like, man, Tamino,
That
take it down a couple notches.
yeah. That sounds like that's Tomino though. That's him going, yeah, this is it.
This is it,
I
yeah.
feel like that's just his outlook on life in general. Do we go to the Battle of the Loom in a saberfish? I think this is a bad idea, but it might be funny.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Just don't
Oh, this is
fail
gonna be
again, you
bad.
know.
It's easy. Just gotta do a barrel roll. All right.
Fox.
Intelligence has been received. Fox. There we go. Destroy the cruiser
Who's your
defending
favorite
enemy
Star
escort.
Fox character?
Ooh, my favorite character in Star Fox. That's a great question. I like Falco. I like
Falco.
Falco. He's
That ain't
he's fun.
Falco. That ain't
That ain't
Falco.
Falco. Wombo combo. I like Falco because he's an ass, right?
Right.
Like he's got the skill to back it up, but like all the time he's giving you guff nonstop, right? Also Falco, I love Falco. I like Fox too. I don't think there's anyone in the Star Fox team I don't like. Like even Slippy, like yeah, he's a fuck up, but he's funny, right?
Yeah.
He's like your little brother. You got to save him, you got to help him out or whatever,
Help!
right?
What do you
Help,
think of
Fox.
the Star Fox Assault game? That was the dinosaur one, right? The Dino Planet.
Assault. No, that's
Oh,
Adventures.
Adventures. Right, right.
Adventures, yeah. 'Cause Assault was the sequel to that, where they're like, okay, we'll make it actually Star Fox now. You know, I played that when I was younger. I had fun with the game. I was like, oh, this is a fun adventure game. You know, I gotta be honest with everybody. That was my first Star Fox game. I didn't play Star Fox 64 for a couple years,
I remember
like
the first
after.
time I saw that game, I was at the Toys R Us in Times Square, and they had it on the
Yeah.
kiosk to advertise it, and I just remember being so blown away by the graphics of that with the dinosaurs. I thought it looked amazing.
Oh, it looked incredible. It looked incredible on the GameCube. It looked awesome.
When I was a kid, I remember going to Toys R Us with my father in the 90s, and
Mm.
we had to pick between the PlayStation or the N64. And the guy at the Toys R Us told my dad that the N64 can make dinosaurs on the same level as Jurassic Park, like graphic wise. And we were just like, okay, sure, let's get that. So that's why
I
we got
believe
the
the man.
N64. And then I
That's
remember playing a
incredible.
Star Fox 64 and just thinking like, this ain't Jurassic Park, you know?
This isn't Jurassic Park. I don't think there's any dinosaurs on. Well, there's Turok. You have Turok on N64. That's it. That might be the only dinosaur game on
Turok was cool
N64. It
though.
might be. Turok is super cool. I love Turok. Uh,
You know,
my buddy Coyote
technically,
Knight,
technically,
all about it.
Disney owns Turok.
They do own Turok.
They could
It's
make a
in a
movie if
weird
they
legal
wanted to.
space.
Yeah.
They could. There's an animated featurette based on the original comic run of Turok. It's actually pretty good. It's not bad. Son of Stone.
Son of
It's not at all
Stone,
like the
right.
games though. Yeah. But it's pretty good. Yeah, my buddy Coyote Knight, he's the Turok VTuber. That is like his domain. I mean, I love Turok, I love the games, but I'm not super into the lore. Like I don't know all the intricacies. That man, he knows. He knows. Like I might be something of a Zilla master, but he's like
Turok Master.
the Turok guy. He knows it. Salty Earth though, great guy. Great guy. If you get the chance to meet him, check him out. Coyote Knight,
Oh, he's streaming?
great guy. Not right now. No. But he's on Twitch. He's on the Twitch. I've never used a fighter in this game, I don't think. I don't think I've ever used a fighter here.
Yeah, one of these days you got to be playing like, the ultimate like what would be the hardest way to beat this game mobile suit wise?
Oh god, probably Ball, right?
Ball, yeah.
Yeah, probably Ball Run.
or the Zoc. I have a buddy who's obsessed with the
Oh,
Zoc.
I love the Zonk. It's such a goofy design, but I love it. Right?
You gotta love it.
At, that and Zaccarello, right? If you don't
Yeah,
like Zaccarello,
that little ugly guy.
goodbye. So ugly. And the fact, like in the show, they're like, "What the hell is this?" Charge is like, "Okay, oh, was Command? There you go. I liked Command. People bitch, they don't like Command. It's one of those things. People don't like Command these days. I like Star Fox Command. I thought it was fun.
I
It's like
haven't
an
played
okay
like any
Zelda.
DS games
Mm.
ever, like nothing.
Ooh,
I
the DS was
gotta.
good. I died. Yeah, really got down by a Gaddle. All right, I'll take getting killed by a Zaku, but a Gaddle? Come on, come on. Oof, that's disrespect. Okay. Well, the mistakes of one's youth can't be helped.
Nobody wants to
Can't be
admit the
helped.
mistakes of one's youth.
No. Okay, let's see. Well, I guess we'll up
Before you said you
my.
saw little Common Riders, right?
I've not seen all. No, in fact,
Do you have a
I'm.
favorite
I'm.
Common Rider of the ones you've
I
seen?
do. It's Kamen Rider Black.
Ah, I was gonna say Black. I love Black.
I love Black. I got the chance to meet Tetsuo Kurata last year at Mighty Morphin or Paramorphin Con out in California, and I did a Kamen Rider Black cosplay, which was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun. I got a picture with him. Super, super chill. Great guy. Uh, he had a little bit of a whatever past, but he's redeemed himself. I don't know. He was nice to me. So
Yeah,
I'll
no,
take
Kamen
it.
Rider Black is
Chaos.
definitely the coolest. And then, of course, now I
Five?
gotta
I need to
ask you the
watch
follow
five.
up. Of course, what's your favorite Sentai?
Favorite Sentai? Ooh. That's probably my in terms of like knowledge, probably my weakest. I'm very surface level on Sentai, but I was watching oh, what's the name of it? I totally forgot the name of it. They used it to make Dino Thunder in America. But that's not the Sentai. Give me 1 second. It's what's the name of that Sentai? Abara Ranger. That's it. Thank you, Miggle. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Miguel,
Yes,
what's your
Abara Ranger.
favorite?
And I like the Bar Ranger a lot. I've been having a lot of fun with that show. Okay, destruction of your
Did you ever
unit.
see the
No,
Akihabara Rangers Sentai
I've
series?
not.
You
I
definitely
need
got
to
to
watch
check that out.
Akihabara.
It's very funny. It's a parody of all the previous ones. Very, very funny season. And if you like, Japanese nerd stuff, which of course, I'm assuming you do, I think you get a kick
Yeah.
out of it. It's a very
Oh yeah,
fun poke at otaku culture.
that's fun. That's fun. 'Cause I know was it in that one they actually have the Power Rangers show up right as the Power Rangers and
Well, yeah, like
not
they have
Sentai.
classic
Yeah.
Rangers show up too, like the
Yeah,
actors and all that, and they're like, "Oh, I'm
that's
just a
fun.
normal person. I'm just an actor," and then they still
Just
have
a
like the
guy.
morphers and all that.
That's
It's
funny.
funny.
First Sentai is Jetman. Nice. New one is Dawn Brothers. Ooh.
Jetman.
Okay.
Have you ever seen Jetman? Jetman is amazing.
I've not seen Jetman. That's
Jetman.
older, right? I
Jetman's
want
the
to say that's
last
80s.
series before ZU Ranger and the whole Americanization
Okay.
stuff happens. But
Nice.
Jetman, and Miggle, back me up here. Jetman might be one of the most adult of the Sentai series. Like, not so much in like blood and gore, where there is blood, but like just in how they approach it. It's
Same
very
guy.
an adult
Adult or
perspective.
mature in a
Yeah,
way.
it's more
Okay.
mature. It's like the
Sure.
show isn't like, hey, we're a bunch of teenagers, we got to save the day. It's more like, hey, I'm an adult and I got things I got to do, and I don't really want to be doing this. Like, I don't. This is like a burden for me to be doing Ranger stuff. I really don't want to be Sentai. Like,
Mm.
you're kind of forcing me to
Okay.
do this. It's they're because they're all older. They don't really, they don't have like that. Like, hey guys, let's go fight them.
Let's go do it. A bunch of plucky
Right.
teenagers just here to go. They didn't give me a gun.
Right.
They
As
didn't.
Miggle so wisely
Okay.
informs, he said, "Yeah,
I
the
like
characters
that.
are older and they don't fully come together as a team for a while. Like the Black Ranger doesn't show up in the team until episode 4."
Wow. That's a little bit late.
Yeah. But if you're ever
Mm.
gonna watch any Sentai series, and I think Miggle would
Jetman.
agree with me here, I think
Jet
you should
Ranger.
definitely watch
Yeah.
Jetman.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
mean,
that is the
you definitely got to
definite
brush up
time.
on your Sentai with your VTuber.
I do
You know, I do love
now.
your VTuber look though. It's very
Oh,
cool with the
thank
shoulder
you.
pads.
Oh yeah. Well, our resident here, Miggle Zebra, designed me. He's my creator.
Oh, right on. So he's coming in to
Mm-hmm.
visit his
Mm-hmm.
baby. You know, that's why he's in the chat. Wants to make
Yeah,
sure
well,
it's
we're
working.
buds. Yeah, we're buds. So, all right. Switching to pilot menu. Yeah, we're saving Fedzilla. He's terrible though. He's got bad stats. I'm not a Fetty. I'm sorry, I can't do it. I always got to be here, and I always truly appreciate your support, Miggle. It really does mean a lot. Save. Yeah, we'll save to the memory card.
So now we
Okay,
got to
let's
address the
do.
elephant in the room here. You know we have to talk about it. You know you know we were destined to go down this path.
Yeah.
What is your favorite Godzilla movie of each era?
Ooh. Ooh, each era? That
Each
makes it a little bit
era.
easier,
Yeah, give
actually.
me a
Okay, I'll
Showa,
take
give me
that.
a Heisei,
Sure.
Millennium.
Reiwa, I guess, Monsterverse. Sure. Okay, we'll start from the beginning. Uh, my favorite Showa Godzilla movie, I think, has to be Mothra versus Godzilla. I really love that
Mm.
movie. As it is so good. I would say, like, if someone points to like what's like the definitive like Godzilla experience, it might be that movie, right? Because it encompasses a little bit of everything that you would say like is Godzilla in one movie. Like it does a perfect job of that, right?
Have you
Like a
ever
newbie
seen
is
the
like, oh,
American
what's a good one?
poster for that movie?
Yes, I have
With like
Godzilla versus the
the
Thing.
Godzilla versus the Thing?
Yeah, the Thing, and it's just what's the thing? I don't know why they thought that was a good marketing stunt. Like, oh, keep people on their toes. They don't know what they're gonna go watch.
Such a
You
bait and
know,
switch. But you know what? I can understand it though. I can
random.
imagine a bunch of kids back then being like, "A butterfly? I don't want to see this. That's
Yeah,
stupid."
right, right. So yeah, Mothra versus Godzilla for Showa. Heisei,
I'm
that's a bit
surprised you
tougher
didn't
for
say
me. It's a bit
Megalon.
tougher. Megalon, this is a hot take. I'm not a fan of that movie.
Ouch! Not
It's
even
actually
the
like in my
Mystery Science
bottom.
Theater.
The Mystery Science Theater 3000 episode is good. I like that episode. It's a good episode. Lost episode. It's a good
Yeah,
episode though.
lost episode.
But my thing with that movie with Godzilla vs Megalon, right, is it's really like scraping the bottom of the barrel when it comes to like the Champion era festival movies. A lot of stock footage being reused. The characters aren't very good, right? Um, Jet Jaguar doesn't do much. Godzilla has no relevance to the plot outside of showing up at the last like 20 minutes to do the tag team battle. Um, Zoetopians aren't great villains. There's a lot of little things that kind of pile up for me that it's like this just isn't fun to watch outside of the final fight, right? And of course, that's what a lot of people are here for the Godzilla movies to watch Godzilla, obviously, and see the fight. But like, you've got to have a good movie around that too, right? And I feel like they just kind of forgot. There's some good scenes though, and there's some good to it. I do like Jet Jaguar. I like the Jet Jaguar fight song. The dam scene is actually really well done when Megalon blows up the dam. That's actually like a well done special effect shot. Um, but a lot of it for me is like just a miss. Unfortunately, it's just a miss. I know a lot of people like the movie, but I just don't. I think a more, I think a better like fun Godzilla movie of the era is predecessor Godzilla versus Gigan, which I've noticed a lot of people don't like anymore. A lot of people shit on that movie. They're like, "Oh, it's just stock footage. Ghidorah doesn't look good." I'm like, "Yeah, Ghidorah does look rough. He does look rough, and Godzilla's suit is aging at that point because I think they're still using the suit. I want to say from Destroy All Monsters. Like it's rough. He's seen better days at that point. Um, but I feel like that movie has a little bit more heart and soul, and they try to get the feel of the '60s movies. It doesn't get to that height. It doesn't get to the height of like Golden Era Godzilla, but they're trying, right? I feel like there's not much of an attempt with Megalon, if that makes sense. I feel like it's just kind of like, all right, we're gonna throw some stuff at the screen. Kids will like it. It's okay. That's just me.
I'll tell you something
That's
you
my
probably
might
already
might be my
know
hot take.
about Megalon, but you know, Megalon, when that came out in the States, a lot of people thought that was public domain. So if you
Oh
ever
yeah,
look for a VHS copy of Megalon, there's like 50 different versions of it because everybody who had a studio or a VHS reason because they thought it was public domain.
that's
Um,
hilarious.
but yeah, no, I like Megalon. I mean, then again, Godzilla. You know, I put everything on a bell
He's just
curve with
there.
Godzilla. I love them all. Um,
That is insane.
but now we got to move on to the most controversial era of them. Let's hear your Heisei. I want to hear your Heisei takes.
Heisei? Okay. My Heisei take. Um, my favorite Heisei movie. I think it's gotta be this is tough for me 'cause it's actually probably my second favorite era behind Showa, right? Second favorite era behind Showa. I love Showa. It's my favorite series by far. Favorite lineup of movies. But favorite uh Heisei, I'm filibustering here. It's gonna be Return of Godzilla. I gotta say, Return of Godzilla. Oh, 16 hits. Howdy, howdy. Good to see you, friend. Good to see you. We're
Howdy.
hanging out here with Oliver of Gundam Mobile Suit Posting, the Facebook group.
Yo, yo,
So,
yo. Thank you for
yep.
having me again.
Oh, you're most welcome. You're most welcome. So yeah, so Return of Godzilla is probably my favorite Heisei movie. I know it's like kind of like a general answer, like, oh, oh, it's the like grim dark one, but I like that movie. It's really well done. I like the like it says 84, so that it's kind of right there in the middle of Japan's like economic boom. Um, so that some of the aesthetics there, especially in Shinjuku, like it really hits the like nail on the head. The special effects are really well done. The animatronic Cybot Godzilla is a bit hit or miss. The close ups are good though. The close ups are good.
Do you
I like
prefer
the plot.
the Japanese version from '84 or the American '85 version with like Raymond Burr scenes thrown in and Dr.
I
Pepper
I
product placement?
Dr. Pepper all over. Yeah, I do prefer the Japanese cut. Certainly, Return to Godzilla over Godzilla 85, but I appreciate 85. Super Robot,
Yeah,
Red
Miguel brought
Baron.
up
Oh god.
MF Doom. I don't know if are you a fan of MF Doom?
Yeah, I like his stuff. He's not in my normal rotation at the moment, but I do like his stuff. He did rap under the name Ghidorah. That's right. I didn't know he had Megalon and Rodan with him though. That's funny.
Oh, Super Robot Red Baron. Have you ever seen Super Robot Red Baron? I think that's '73 that came out. That show is
I've not.
wacky.
No, I need to
But
check it out though. Super Robot Red Baron.
16x a second, if I'm saying that correctly.
Yeah, he's 16 hits a second.
16,
Is his
oh,
10 hit
16 hits a
thing.
second. Is that like
Yeah,
a Fist of the
see,
North Star reference there or something?
no, he can just hit a button that fast.
It's like the Super Nintendo Turbo controller. Um,
Yeah.
with what I was gonna say to you, 16 hits a second. If you enjoy wacky tokusatsu and you also like kung fu
Okay.
movies,
Operation
you should
British.
definitely check out the movie Boxer's Omen. That's a really wacky
Boxer's
kung fu
Omen.
movie. Yeah, really good stuff.
Okay.
Um, so outside of Return of Godzilla, what about Ghidorah? That confusing mess of a
I
film.
it's so I mean the time travel plot does get a bit lost in the sauce. I like the movie a lot. It's a lot of fun. Um some people don't like it. I get that. I think
Hmm.
it's a lot of fun. They do a good job of adapting uh King Ghidorah to the Heisei era, doing it I wouldn't say more realistic, but keeping it a bit more grounded in the direction they were going at the time. There's no space stuff. I like the inversion of the you know the aliens being people from the Futurinians, with their time machine being a UFO. I think it's a lot of fun.
Evil white
You
people.
don't see that a lot. You know, Major Spielberg is great.
Oh yeah, of course.
Great scene.
Uh,
You love to see it.
Let me tell you a funny story real quick. So I don't know if you're
Yeah.
on Facebook that often, but there's this group called Toho Kaiju Posting. It's like a shit posting group.
Yes. I'm in that group.
Oh well, one time I posted a meme in that group, and it was like a picture of Spielberg with a quote over him, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm so happy that movie got that fact right of that historical thing. It really inspired my career. My dad seeing the UFO." And then somebody in the comments was like, "Oh, this isn't true. Spielberg's dad wasn't in the Pacific. He was in India." I'm like, "Oh, but did he still see the Godzillasaurus? Was that part still true?" Like,
Yeah. Did you still see the Godzilla source and the UFO? Oh, that's so funny. That's funny. That's such a random There's no reason to put that scene in there, but they just threw it in just for the hell of it. I think it's funny. It's a
speaking
good movie
of
though. I like it.
speaking of
Yes.
kaiju posting and F91, if you would allow me for a second, let me read to
Go
you
ahead.
a post that I made when -1 came out that I think you might
Sure. Yeah.
enjoy. Let me just find it real quick. But yeah, -1. Not to lose our train of thought here. But what did you think of
Sure.
-1?
Oh, it's art. Beautiful. I saw it 3 times in theaters. It's incredible. I just bought the 4K Blu-ray box set, which included minus color, which is awesome. Great way to see that movie. I haven't seen it yet. Like that. A lot of fun.
Did you prefer it without
Um,
color?
I don't know if I prefer it without color. I think I do prefer the original release with color, but without color is a lot of fun. And they did a good job with it because they also did proper shading. It's not just like a filter thrown over the movie, it's done properly. It adds a lot.
So
Um,
let me read something to you.
sure. No.
This was a post I made on Kaiju Posting. My biggest criticism I have with Minus One is how Koichi handled seeing Godzilla on Odo Island. When he came back to Japan, he didn't tell anybody about it, which is so unlike a typical Godzilla movie. It really was distracting how unrealistically Koichi handled seeing Godzilla during World War II. What he should have done was, after coming back to Tokyo, he should have made a large sign and get a megaphone so he can go to the Natural Science Museum to yell at people that dinosaurs are real, and he saw them during the war. Obviously, this would inspire a reporter to write a book about this man's story, which will be read in the future in the year 2204 by people who decide to time travel back in time with a Terminator android and offer to give them a ride even further back in time to see Godzilla in World War II. Except this time they teleport Godzilla at the bottom of the ocean so he never gets irradiated, and replace him with three mutant winged Furby like pets, so that when the nuke goes off on the island, those Furbies mutate together into a single monstrous being, so when the time travelers return to modern Tokyo, they use their new monster to terrorize Tokyo, and then our heroes decide to feed Godzilla a submarine, only for them to find out that Godzilla already ate a submarine on his own and was irradiated anyways, so now Godzilla can kill a mutated Furby baby monster, so the future people time travel to the future to take their mutated Furby monster corpse and turn it into a cyborg and come back from the future one more time just to fight Godzilla again and lose. But that's just what Minus One would do if it was a good Godzilla movie.
That's funny. That's funny. I bet you probably got flamed a good bit because people
Oh,
only read the first like
flamed.
paragraph, and they were like, "Oh, he's just making a movie versus King Ghidorah." Yeah, that's
But
funny.
I mean, I get roasted for this all the time, but honestly, like of all the Godzilla movies, I definitely rewatch King Ghidorah 91 the
Nope.
most out of all of them.
It's one I go to pretty often. We did a Godzilla marathon. Some of them words, the there's good. I understood. You understand a couple of them. That's enough. That's enough. And it's good to have you here. Good to have you here.
Welcome to the stream.
Yep. Well, welcome, welcome. And we did a Godzilla marathon for Godzilla's 70th birthday last year in a little Discord, having fun, just watching Godzilla all day. And that wasn't one of them. No, we didn't watch Godzilla versus King Ghidorah. I watched that on my birthday. That's right. I was I was drinking in VR, watching that with friends in a theater. That was fun. No, we watched
Talk about
Mechagodzilla
rock
2, which
bottom. Like
rock bottom. Oh, that's the top. That's the
I
top
like the
right there.
top.
That's the top.
All
Don't
right,
get
so
better
we
than that.
talked a lot about Terminator versus King Ghidorah, which again, that was such a
Yeah.
weird concept with the robot and all
It's a
that.
it's a strange concept, but it charmingly works, unlike its sequel, Godzilla versus Mothra, where they try to shove in Indiana Jones type adventuring and it doesn't work at all.
Well, now we're kind of jumping the gun here, but when you're talking about shoving in elements from other movies, what was up with that scene in Space Godzilla where they just steal that scene from
Oh,
Predator with the spider or scorpion or whatever that
oh yeah,
was?
that too.
That was like, what?
Okay.
What's going on?
It's so
But
random. It's just to make that guy look cool. I thought you were gonna go off on a tangent about that stupid ass Yakuza subplot that goes nowhere. That's just
oh,
their
you
bad
don't even.
time. I hate it.
That's almost on the same intellectual level as like the New York scene in Final Wars, when it's like,
Oh
I'm looking
God.
at a dead man. I'm looking.
Looking at it, them man.
But we're getting ahead of ourselves here. We're getting ahead of ourselves here.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh God.
So, what do you think about Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla 2? What do you think about that design, and where do you rank Mechagodzilla 2 against Showa Mechagodzilla and Kiru?
Ooh. Okay. So I actually
I
really
want I
like
want
that
to hear your
movie.
tier list here, your top 3.
My tier list.
Give me
My
order.
top three Mecha Godzillas. Okay.
Yes.
Um, for me, ironically, it's kind of release order. I think. I think it really is release order. I love Showa Mechagodzilla. Maybe the most. Maybe it's the other way around. If I'm being honest with myself, Super Mechagodzilla is my favorite Mechagodzilla. Right?
Hmm.
Heisei Mechagodzilla, Mechagodzilla 2. Although technically Mechagodzilla 2 is the name of the robot seen in Terra Mechagodzilla. Pedantic, I know, but it's true. It says MG2 on his shoulder and everything. Anyway, Super Mechagodzilla is my favorite by far. Then probably Showa Mechagodzilla, right? Kiryu is third, which I know is a hot take. That's everyone's favorite,
Ouch.
and I get it.
Ouch. It's a cool
I get
design.
it.
It's a really cool
It's a very
design.
cool design. I love him, right? He's great. He's got a good backstory. Um,
And without him, we wouldn't have had that Kiru.jpg scene where he just kind of slides Michael
just
Jackson
slides.
style into the
It's
frame.
great. It's so
Um,
great.
but no,
I do
yeah,
not have weird
Mechagodzilla 2 is
expectations with Godzilla.
amazing.
It's amazing. I love him. I love him. My thing with Kiryu is it's Evangelion, right?
Yeah.
They kind of Evangelion Mecha Godzilla, and they were like, all right, and that's not a bad idea. I like it. I don't know. I I kind of like I kind of like the cold, non-thinking, right? Like Super Mecha Godzilla is a weapon to kill Godzilla.
Persephone Narcissus
He's
says, I hope none of you have weird, sexy Godzilla pics on your phone. I don't know.
yeah. I
Well,
do
I got
not.
some
I
bad
don't
news
shame
now.
people, but I do shame. I do
Only
shame.
that 98 Godzilla, the American one, it definitely has a weird kind of
There's a
sexual
sexual thing
thing
to
to
it.
it. Yeah.
It's in the design. I want to say Roland Emmerich talked about that. There's an interview where he's like, yeah, we want to like add a well not sexual appeal, but like there's like sexuality to the design, and it's like why does that need to be here? There's a lot of whys in that movie in general in '98. Uh, the revisionism on that movie is unreal to me, right?
How so?
So I would say the past, I don't know, maybe 2, 3 years, a lot of people have come out of the woodworks saying, "Oh, it's not that bad. It's a good movie. It's a good Godzilla movie." And I'm like, "I'm sorry. One, you weren't there. Two, it just isn't, right?"
I would have to say,
Nips in the Batman suit, same exact concept, right? Nips in the Batman suit. Like, why is that there? Like, who thought this was a good idea?
I would have to say the 98 movie, my favorite thing about that movie is not the movie itself, but the hype that movie had. Like I
Oh yeah,
remember that summer before that movie came out, like it was just Godzilla mania. Everyone was talking about Godzilla. Godzilla was like in the cultural zeitgeist. It was like I kind of miss that
huge.
almost that hype for that movie. That was
Yeah,
such a great feeling to be a Godzilla
you
fan at
don't
that
get
time.
hype for movies at all these days
Yeah.
like that.
And
Not
Independence
even
Day was such a
close.
huge hit. It was just like it felt like on top of the world being a Godzilla fan at that moment.
Yeah.
And then the movie came out and we were like, eh.
Oh,
But
yeah. And you go, well, it's okay. And I'll say this: there's things that movie does well, and hot take, there's things that movie does better than some of the MonsterVerse movies. Okay, a few things, and not many.
this scene in the
One of those
beginning
being
when the guy's on the dock and Godzilla comes out of the water is really well
that's a good.
done.
It's actually well done. The practical effects work in that movie is actually well done.
Right.
Okay, a lot of people like overlook that because of the CG, which the CG is not bad for the time. It's not bad. It's the best, no, but it looks fine. But the practical effect, where a lot of miniature effects, there is actually a costume. There's a Godzilla suit used incredibly sparingly. I don't even know if it's in the final print, but they made one. Um, and the animatronics too, they look good. Like they look good. Blowing up Madison Square Garden looks great. That bit where they blow it up looks awesome, right? Great miniature work. It's just everything around it's not great. The movie
Yeah.
itself is just not that good. Um, the soundtrack's not bad either. People sleep on that soundtrack. That soundtrack's actually fairly good. I'm not
I
even
don't
talking
think we're
about
allowed to
P
talk
Diddy's.
about that soundtrack right now.
Yeah, outside of P Diddy, like the actual who did the score? I forgot who did the score on '98, but it's
But
actually
the reuse
not
of
bad
Kashmir was pretty good. And it wasn't Rage
for that
Against the
song. Yeah,
Machine on that soundtrack too.
they were on that soundtrack. Yeah, yeah, cool. Because that was on the album. That was back in the day when movies had albums. Remember, where it's just like here's a bunch of songs that are like kind of
Vaguely
connected. They're
adjacent.
not in the movie. they're movie adjacent. Here you go. They stopped doing that.
Yeah.
I don't know when. I think it was 2000s they stopped doing that. Because I know like the SpongeBob SquarePants movie had that, and it's like, what the fuck? Like some like these songs don't have anything to do with SpongeBob, but okay, sure, why not? Um,
I love how in
yeah,
this conversation we went straight from Mechagodzilla 2 to 98.
to
Like we just skipped
98, it just
everything.
happens.
Just poof.
It just yeah,
Um
totally happens.
so yeah, anyways, Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla 2, you said you hated it, but
I
um
I love that movie. No, 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 I love that movie. It's one of my favorites.
what
A lot of people don't like it,
do you
but
think
I
was
love it.
better? Mechagodzilla 2 or Godzilla versus Mothra 2?
Oh, definitely Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla 200%. I don't really like Godzilla versus Mothra. My issue with that is Godzilla's barely relevant to that movie. It's Godzilla, it's Mothra and Batra, which on its own would not be a bad movie. Unfortunately, they kind of squandered that whole concept with Rebirth of Mothra. That
Mm.
trilogy's subpar. Sorry. Um, so like a Mothra movie, it'd be great. You know, Mothra debuted in her own movie. Um, so it's like this is, you know, like we're in the right direction here. Um, so Godzilla versus Mothra, it's okay. Akira Takarada's in it, so it's like that's cool. It's great to see him again in a role, though he doesn't do anything except for sit in a command center. Um, you know, an evil Mothra, that's cool. I like that. It's a neat idea. Run with it. Um,
Who's better,
Godzilla.
Command Center Takarada or Immigration's Custom Takarada?
Oh well, if we're going to technicality here, I'm gonna say Command Center Takarada just because he actually is in the movie. He's in the finalized product. Although I want to say they're doing a new release of 2014 with the deleted scenes. We're finally seeing that deleted scene for the first time in over 10 years.
Daddy's
I
home,
don't know if
cake
that came
every
out
night.
yet. Yeah,
But
because I was so upset we never got to see that, and they just didn't put it out. And I was like, why isn't it out anywhere?
it was a
Um,
little disrespectful. I felt that they cut that out.
yeah, it was only like a 30-second scene. It's not long, right?
Right.
Like that was the 6th anniversary. Like it's a big deal. Godzilla's back for the first time in 10 years. You know, you're bringing one of the veteran actors who's in the first movie and has been in the series, you know, all throughout its history. You know, you got to put him in there. You know, so it was weird. I get why they cut it. You know, it's Hollywood stuff. I get it. Oh, we got ads. Watch out, incoming.
Uh oh.
Duck and cover. Unfortunately, they'll be over soon enough. Um, you know, but yeah. So seeing that cut, it was really a shame. Really was a shame. Uh,
Are we in an ad right now? I don't know if you can tell. I can't tell on my side.
We are, yes, yes. It does
Yeah.
a little thing. Um, so let me actually. I'm gonna pause real quick and take a swig of water because my voice gets a smidge hoarse. It's weird. So it'll delay. It'll delay because it'll say like ads coming now, and then like 10 seconds after the countdown on my side of things, it will then start. It's very frustrating because you try to time it out, and sometimes I take a break. Like I'm like, all right, you know, I'm not gonna talk because I don't want to lose people. Right? We're in like
Right.
mid conversation, mid thing happening, and then you get cut off by 30 seconds by Gillette or whatever.
Yeah. What if I was gonna say something really important? You know,
Right?
I could have
You
completely
lose the
blow. I
contact.
could have completely changed your mind on Godzilla versus
Right?
Mothra. You know,
Right? Or like a huge, like a really funny joke, and then we're done laughing about it. Like, oh, that was great, and it's like, oh, well, sorry you missed out. You
clip that
know,
chat.
I clip that, right? And it's like, oh, clip this, that was great, and you totally lose it. So I do hate that. I mean, I've also got mine. Yeah, see, now it's going. See exactly what I'm talking about. Where it's like a weird delay. I've also noticed that even on my side of things, the ad break notification, because like it says ads are ended now, but they're not over. I guarantee it's going to be another 5 or 6 seconds after that. They'll actually be over. But yeah, I felt Godzilla versus Mothra was a bit lackluster. I do like the scene where Godzilla comes out of Mount Fuji, which was pretty much just put there by Koichi Kawakita, the special effects director, just because he wanted to redo Godzilla coming out of a volcano because he wasn't satisfied with the scene in Godzilla versus Biollante, um, which
Oh
was going
yeah,
to be my second
we
choice.
skipped. We totally skipped Biolante in the timeline.
Biollante? Oh god, I love Biollante. Coming out, we got a new 4K. Blu-ray coming out. I gotta pick that up. I gotta pre-order that. New scan, new film scan, 4K transfer, uh, Criterion Collection. So you know it's good. You know they've got good stuff going on there. We got special features. We got a bunch of stuff. I think there's a director's commentary track or commentary track or two at least on there. Don't know about if it's director or not, but there's a couple commentary tracks.
Biolante, at
That's
least
sick.
design wise, is definitely one of the coolest kaiju.
It's such a cool looking monster. Such a cool kaiju. For me, it's the effects work. I mean, if you've seen the behind the scenes for that movie,
Oh, with
that
all the
prop,
piano wire and the puppeteering,
it's
very cool stuff.
it's I mean, it's an insane puppet, right? Plus suit
Right.
because someone is in Biolante, uh, manipulating it along with all the wire work. It's just next level. Um, it's a shame that movie did not do well, like theatrically,
Yeah.
but I like that everyone's kind of come back around and really respects and like appreciates that film. Because it is so good, so good. It's got everything you need right there. That's another movie I point to and say like you want to like Godzilla movie that kind of encompasses all of it to some extent. That's one right there. It's got a little bit of everything. Still got like great plot, great characters. You got the theme. You got all of it going on.
Well,
Um,
we have to talk about one of the most controversial movies though now, right?
sure.
You either love it or you hate it. We got to talk about Space Godzilla
Space
because
Godzilla.
Space Godzilla I think has the most disparity amongst fans. There's people who think Space Godzilla is their
Oh yeah.
absolute favorite, and then I've seen a lot of people who are like Space Godzilla is where is like the downfall of the franchise, like the worst thing to happen. And it's like, and I don't think it's
It
that strong. I think that's a little ridiculous to go that far, but
That's a little much.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a little much. Yeah, there's definitely some people out there that are real crazy about it. I'm not a fan of that movie, and it's probably my least favorite of the Heisei era by far. I mean, in some regards, I think they're kind of right. You could definitely see the fatigue, right? The series fatigue with Space Godzilla. You've got kind of lackluster space effects. Like the whole space scene with Mogira and Space Godzilla does look bad. It does
Yeah.
not look that good,
Yeah.
right? The asteroids don't look good. The models like it's rough. I want to say that's the movie where Godzilla's tail falls off, and the water scene because they're using the suit from Godzilla versus Mothra. Um, it's not great. Akira Fukube didn't want to score it. He just said no, which is kind of wild for him to say like I don't want to do Godzilla. No, because he did most of the Heisei movies. He didn't do Return of Godzilla or Biollante. He came back because of Biollante though. He was particular. He didn't like that they reused his music, and I'm pretty sure it was also due to Bio Wars, which I like that song. That's a hot take. People don't like the song. I like that song. It's fun. It's a
Yeah.
fun
BioWars
remix of
is a good
Godzilla's
song.
theme. It's a good song. But I could see why he wouldn't like that. I could see why he would be upset and be like, "Look, let me just do this. If you're gonna reuse it, I'll just do it right." And
Right.
he did it right with King Ghidorah. Oh my god, he brought it back crazy. Uh, although the music in Biollante is good. No, the music in Space Godzilla is fine, right?
No, I liked it. I
Persephone,
liked
you
it.
gotta be careful. You gon' open that Pandora's box. It's out there. R34 is a Rule 34 is a thing. I'm just gonna put it out there. Be careful what you wish for, my friend. Be careful what you wish for.
And
Um,
speaking of Rule 34, let's talk about
well,
the kaiju that probably gets most Rule 34'd with Godzilla, besides Mothra, I guess. The fan favorite, I would say. This movie probably has the most fans out of any of the Heisei films. Of course, I'm going to mention Godzilla versus Destroya.
oh yeah, love Destroy. It's a great send off. Great send off.
I would
It
have to
it
say that
really is.
Burning Godzilla look is probably my absolute favorite suit of all of the Gojis. Like that Burning
He
Godzilla with
looks
the
incredible.
orange, it just looks so
Oh
good on
yeah,
camera. The
with
smoke,
the
oh.
glow smoke. Yeah, dangerous to be in that costume. Um, but it's great. Destroya. Wait, did they really make a song called Destroya? Really? Spelt differently, but wow, wild. That's funny. Probably has no relation to the character to the monster Destroya, but it could. Certainly could. Um, that's funny. That's funny. No, I love Godzilla versus Destroya. It's awesome. It's a great movie. Um, I felt like they realized like it was like we gotta finish this thing. Is how they spell it? I see. Which is the YA, not the YAH. I see, I see. Because you could see series fatigue with Space Godzilla. It's a lackluster film. It really is. Like they're not sending their best. It's B team. It's a B team movie. But there's also another Toho tokusatsu movie coming out that year in '94. Um, I forgot the name of it, but it has Orochi. Yamato no Orochi is in it. The giant like what 8-headed dragon,
Yeah,
which
I
is
know what you're
neat.
talking about, the Hydra guy.
Yeah,
Um,
and I want to say Koichi Kawakita was on that movie. He wasn't on Space Godzilla, um, which shows. I like Space Godzilla's design though. I do like Space Godzilla.
so
He looks
before,
cool.
well, Space
Bulgaria's
Godzilla
fun,
is definitely cool. I mean, he's cool. He's cool
right?
looking.
It's
Story
cool looking.
wise, it's not really there, but
Doesn't
visually, it's
doesn't do
cool.
much, but visually it's a cool idea. Doppelganger Godzilla, like I'm here for it, you know, because like Mecha Godzilla's an evil doppelganger, but he's a robot, right? You know, so you have like an evil twin, evil clone. That's cool. Although the design is just Super Godzilla from the Super Nintendo game.
The first time I saw Space Godzilla, I might have been around 10 years old, and
Yeah.
I fell asleep watching that movie. And so it's like, if you
Oh,
can't keep a 10-year-old boy awake, there's
you
something not
failed.
right there.
Ooh, what if episode? The Federation. Yeah, because yeah, Shin Matsunaka was not at Solomon. No, he was not. It's a nice what if? What if he was there?
So let's
I don't
go on
know
a
if
little
Shin
side tour
Matsunaka
here.
could
Let's
save
go.
it. But
Let's
yeah,
go a little
sorry.
diversion here, right?
Yeah.
Talk about somebody who was not in Godzilla. A lot of people want to see him in Godzilla, but he came out.
Okay.
He had movies around the same time. I think you know who I'm
Yeah.
talking about. He's
You're talking
very
about
neat.
Gamma.
He's made out of turtle
Full
meat.
of little meat. Really
Let's talk
sweet.
about the Gamera movies real quick.
Oh
Do you
man.
have?
I
Well, first of all, let's talk about the bad Gamera movies. Do you
sure the
have a
show
favorite
stuff.
Showa Gamera movie, like Jiger or Gaios or whatever? Because for me, those movies are real. I mean, I love the Mystery Science Theater
They're
episodes of those movies,
yeah,
but
those are good episodes. Yeah,
those Gamera
those movies
movies
are
are
rough.
rough.
They're rough. I might have to go back. It's been years since I've seen them, and I've actually like sat down and like watched them because I'm pretty critical of them. I'm like, I'm not. They're not. I'm not a big fan of those. Barugan is probably my favorite Showa Gamera movie. Because I like that it's a crazy weird monster that has like, ice powers and a rainbow. Because why not?
Right.
Barugan, not to be confused with Baragon of Godzilla fame.
Yeah. Or
Different
Godzilla's
monster.
most famous kaiju, Gabara.
Yes. Also, don't not to be confused there. Yeah, I know, right? Not confusing.
So with
Um,
the I forget the terminology, but what did we call the 90s Gamera movies again? What was the name of
it's the
those?
Heisei trilogy. There's a couple
Heisei,
names for
yeah.
it. Heisei trilogy, the Gamera trilogy. Um, those. This is my another hot take here. I mean, I'm the Zilla Master after all, but those movies are better than the Heisei Godzilla movies.
Damn.
I've said that many a time, and I'll stick by my guns on that. And I'm a big fan of the Heisei
Damn.
Godzilla movies. I know they're flawed, right? But I'm a like G1, G2, G3, possibly some of the best tokusatsu on film. Like as a movie, they're next level.
Zilla
You
Master
know, they
taking
did
the
a
gloves off here,
oh
man.
yeah, oh yeah. I'll tell you like
Damn.
it is. I'll tell you like it is. Um,
Well,
those movies
you
are
heard it
just that
here.
good.
You heard it here first, folks. He's deleting his channel. Make sure you follow Gamera Master
Gamer
on the
Master,
new, the new
yeah,
channel.
new channel.
No, I mean,
Yeah,
I
we did a
definitely feel
rewatch.
you. I definitely feel you.
Yeah,
Those movies are really, really good,
they're
and there's a
they're
lot
so
of
good.
really great framing and cinematography. They're
They're
really well done.
the effects works are incredible. All the suitmation, the model work, the CG isn't the best. Again, all right, you know, you cut him a little bit of slack there. It's great, but Shusei Kaneko, I mean, next level. It's a shame he hasn't done really anything since. He did GMK, which is also incredible movie, right? Love
Right.
GMK. Uh, and then he's like kind of fell off. Like he hasn't done anything since. I don't know what he's doing up to, like what he's up to now. He's still around, but I don't think he's directing much. I'd love to see him do another, not even Godzilla, just Tokusatsu. Let him do something else, right? It would be great if he did more Godzilla or another Gamera.
I mean, a
G4
guy like
maybe.
that, you just
Right?
let him do whatever he wants.
Yeah, exactly. Just let it come to him.
He
Absolutely.
really he really needs to be in that like Hideki Anno kind of situation where it's just like
Oh yeah,
whatever he wants, they let him do.
just let him do it, right? Just let them have at it. So yeah, those movies. I mean, I recommend those highly, 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 highly. G1, G2, G3. We did a rewatch last year, in the Discord, and they still hold up. I mean, they're still just so good, so well done. Uh, Not a bad one in the bunch. I think of those three, my favorite's probably Gamera 1. That might be a bit of nostalgia, but I really love that movie, and I like Gauss. Gauss is a great monster, great design.
No, I'll
Oh,
tell you right now what the best
exam.
Gamera movie is, and I think you're gonna agree with me on this one. I think Gamera 2, the dub, specifically the
Ooh,
Texarkana
okay.
dub, is the best
That's a
way
lot
to
of
watch
fun.
Gamera 2. Holy
That dub is a
crap!
lot of fun. Holy crap! Oh,
That's one of those things
all
I think
right.
I have to force all of my friends to watch at some point. You know, it's like
You've got to see it
you
at
gotta
some
watch the
point.
Texarkana dub of Gamera 2.
Got to You've got to watch it.
Which is unfortunate though, because I don't know if you know about the newest Blu-ray release, but the
It doesn't have
Blu-ray
it on there.
version, it either doesn't have it, or it might have had it, but only like the first 30 minutes of it, or
That's weird.
there was some error with the Blu-ray copy, unfortunately. But if your Google Foo's good enough, you can definitely find it online.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I want to say it's out there. Um, yeah, because I've got. Oh, he said the thing. Once the Big Zama's mass produced, we'll put it into the Federation in no time. Let's go. I'm okay. It's never gonna happen, but a 144th one day, it'll happen. We'll
Do you
get the
know
Big Zama mass
Dozel,
produced.
the voice actor for Dozel in the Gundam dub? He voiced Bowser in the Super Mario movie.
You, you're talking about? You're not talking about. That's not Jack Black.
No, no, I mean in the Japanese version, the Japanese voice actor.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, yeah,
I
the
was like, huh?
Japanese voice of Dozel is Bowser.
That's incredible. That's incredible.
But
What
when you
about
think
Spirits? Is
about
it
it, it
Robot Spirits
works. It makes
144?
sense.
It
You know, it
works. It
works.
totally works. Yeah, because his voice, yeah, he could totally do it.
No, Jack Black, thankfully, was not in any Gundams so
I
far.
was about to say he's not Doodle Zombie. I don't think. Yeah, the live action Gundam. I don't know. I don't know how to feel about that.
I don't
I
know if
do
you've
trust.
seen, but there's this guy on Facebook. His name is Gundam News, and he does like Gundam stuff.
Oh, I've heard
He had a
he's
little
not
bit
very
of like
happy
a
about that one.
meltdown over that
I
movie being
saw
announced.
that.
I was like, my God, chill, take it down a couple notches, my guy. Like,
Yeah, like
relax.
I it's like I get being protective of your favorite thing, but it's like, all right, come on, buddy. They didn't.
Yeah,
Yeah, they didn't. Yeah,
and it's like, and you know, the thing is like, I understand being protective, of course. Like, if it was something, if they made like but it's how do I word this properly? But it's like we've already had these
yeah,
failures. You know what I mean? Like you
yeah.
can't be so
We have
protective of like
Peacemaker.
Godzilla because you know there already
Yeah,
is bad American Godzilla movies. You can't be that protective of Gundam because there already is bad Gundam live action movie. You know, it's like we already had these
yeah.
growing pains. You know, we already passed that
I
boundary.
I would at this point I would you know imagine that Sunrise and Bandai they're not gonna just let them do whatever they want, right?
Right. Well,
Like they're
with
well,
G Savior, that's kind of
no,
what
G
happened
Savior.
there.
Yeah, you
You
really don't
you
know what
watched
the
it
hell they were
recently, right?
smoking.
G Savior.
I did.
Yeah, did you
This past
notice
Sunday.
that they don't say Gundam once in the
Th-
entire movie?
Gundam's never uttered. No, no,
No.
they do their damnedest not to say anything directly Gundam related. They do say, uh, I think side like once or twice, and
You know why
they
that
do say
is, right?
mobile suit character. Yeah, because or carriers, excuse me. Yeah, because they were gonna pawn it off if Bandai pulled out, right?
Exactly. They were so afraid of Bandai pulling out that they wanted to make the movie as like neutral as possible that it could be easily edited to be something else. But
You know,
man,
and I think
did you keep an eye out for that kiss scene I was telling you about in
oh,
that?
it is awkward. It's like at the end of the movie. It's
That's
super
so
awkward.
awkward, that kiss at the end of that movie. Like
Yeah,
I don't know what was going on there, but they must have not liked each other or something because that was like the least chemistry in a kiss I've ever seen in a movie.
oh yeah. No, it's so weird, and you're like, okay, sure.
Do you
Um,
remember the name of the pilot in G Savior? Because for some reason I keep thinking it's Mark Cuban,
Mark.
and it's
It's
like
Mark
that can't be
Curran.
it.
It's close.
Yeah, Mark
It's
Cuban.
close. Mark
Yeah,
Curran.
like Mark
The action in
Cuban
G
was that?
Savior. Really for Lady Un? Really?
Yeah, yeah, and I think
Really?
the guy who played Mark
Huh?
also does a voice in Seed or something.
Does he really?
I think
That's
so.
funny. All right, where's Amuro?
And then isn't like the Ed, Ed and Eddie guy also in Seed?
Yes, he is.
Get in the
Yes,
Gundam,
he
Ed
is.
boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ed, Ed, and Eddie. That's
You know, Shin, if
classic.
you were like a little bit closer, maybe you could have taken out Amuro. I didn't know that she was in that she's the lady, the voice of Lady Un in Wing. That's incredible. That's actually incredible.
So you said
You
your
know,
first exposure to Gundam was Wing,
Matt
right?
Hill. My first exposure, my very first exposure to Gundam, actually, it might have been reruns of like G and SD Gundam, Superior Defender Gundam of all things. The first show I actually sat down and watched though was Mobile Suit Gundam. Through and through, actually sat down and watched entirely was Mobile Suit Gundam.
So you were aware
This
of
is a
Wing,
really
you
hard
just kind
mission.
of caught
Damn.
it in passing.
I caught it in passing and then went back and watched it. Um, so I do like. I gotta say, I do like Wing though. I know some. That's another thing. SD Gundam Force was 100% a mistake. I think it was. I think it was like revenge for Doozy Bots getting canceled, right? They're like, all right, we couldn't do this back then, but we can do it now. Damn it.
Doozy Bots shouldn't have
We,
been canceled. Doozy Bots was peak.
you know, if it is peak, if Doozy Bots was a thing, right? If it actually happened, there would be people clamoring. They'd be like the Robotech fans, right?
Yeah.
They'd be like Robotech fans going, "Come on, guys, right?
Doozy
It's
Bots was
okay that
actually
that
really
mobile suits.
good.
I like the hatch from eggs. I don't like them being weapons of war. I don't like that.
The wheelchair guy was the most complex character in anime.
Yeah. Oh, that it gave me a flashback to the the BK Kids Club thing.
Yeah, exactly,
It's
exactly.
exactly that.
It's exactly that. So,
It's exactly
what
that.
actually got you though into Gundam? Like, how did you?
Sergeant Frog.
Oh, Sergeant Frog. Right
One
on.
summer I watched Sergeant Frog, and I was like, he's onto something about this.
Remind me later about Sergeant Frog. I got to tell you something that I'm not allowed to say publicly yet. And I have an
Oh,
NDA
okay.
thing, but we'll talk about
That's
Sergeant Frog at some
totally
point.
totally fine, but I got to hear this.
Oh,
Yeah, but
but no,
it's a good
Sergeant Frog
show.
was so funny, so funny.
So
And you know what
funny.
else is funny though? With Sergeant Frog, I watched it when I was like fresh into the hobby, and then
Yeah.
rewatching it later, there's so many more jokes that you catch that you don't necessarily catch the first couple times. It
Oh.
really grows. It's like a fine wine, Sergeant Frog. It gets better with age.
Mm. I need to go back and rewatch it because I haven't seen it in years. Uh, but it's so funny. That's such a funny show, and they get so much right with it too. Like they know, those guys know. That's the movie, and still no MG Snim. Still no Master Grade Gym Sniper Custom Verka. No,
Yeah, that's never gonna
no,
happen.
never gonna happen. No,
And
Master Grade's a deadline.
you're gonna
We
get
still get
the
new Master Grade.
G self before that happens.
She's that's not happening. Okay, okay. Yeah, we'll get the G self. Yeah, the G self, the MG Verka Gym Sniper 2, Gym Sniper Custom, and what else? Animated like Crossbone.
Yeah, that's the one
Honestly,
thing I
like
want to see is Crossbone.
Crossbone. This is kind of a maybe a bit of a hot take, different take, but I think I'd rather see a remake of F91, like fully realize that concept, that
Like a
series, and
series.
flesh it out. A series of like OVA, maybe not a full show, but an OVA at least, something to flesh out the concept and go like, hey, you know, here's this actually like paced out to like 7, 8 episodes plus, you know, and maybe show what happens at the end afterward. We can do a couple episodes there, maybe second season. Who knows? That would be cool, and then you could bridge that into Crossbone. Uh, but that's certainly never gonna happen. That's really never gonna happen. Because that's like a pipe dream thing. Crossbone, it's feasible. I don't think so, but it's feasible. Um, I mean, there's so few Gundam manga adaptations, but so many Gundam manga and written material out there, right? Like we're just not getting Hathaway's Flash. We got the first couple of chapters, couple of arcs of Thunderbolt. Although them not animating all of Thunderbolt might be for the better to keep everyone's sanity. if that makes sense.
Right, right.
Uh, yeah,
Thunderbolt
because
gets wacky in the
it
manga.
gets wacky. Yeah, yeah. The Zeta Gundam showing up 5 years before or 4 years before it was even built, a little bit odd. But hey, you know, you do you.
It is
you
what it
you do
is, you know.
is what it
It
is.
is what
Is
it
what it
is.
is. Uh, you know. Oh, the Musai. Nice. I can make it.
Yeah, you should
Yeah.
change your character to the Psycho Zaku. You'd be there in like a heartbeat.
Right?
But yeah, Thunderbolt when
Right?
that came out, man, that really hit the fandom like cracked the
Oh
streets
yeah.
in the '80s. Like people loved
Yeah, it
Thunderbolt when
did.
that came out. That was huge. I remember that like really.
Huge.
That was probably the one of the biggest
That's a
pulses to
big
the
release.
fandom in the recent in like the last 10 years was Thunderbolt.
Oh yeah. Huge. Huge. I mean people still talk about it. It's a good show.
But you
I
know what's
like it.
interesting though? Thunderbolt is
Now,
way bigger in America than it was with the Japanese fans.
I could see that. I could see that being a more of a Western fan base thing where I wouldn't say it's written in any kind of Western fashion, but I don't know. I guess it being a bit more
Actiony.
uh actiony, certainly. It's in a similar league of like Eighth MS team, right? Where it's not like other Gundams, very little new type stuff,
More
more
grounded.
serious, more grounded, more serious. Uh, except with Peg Late Pete, they're piloting a Zaku with sticks, but that's okay. I like him, right?
Right.
On M, and still don't know what's happening. I don't think anybody does. I don't think anybody does. Thunderbolt, yeah, I don't think anyone does. It's cool though. I like the art. The
I
the,
used to
the
be a
redesigns are pretty
moderator on
fun.
M way back when.
Yeah,
You
you were
know,
saying it the other day. That must have been wild though.
that was a nightmare.
I can imagine. I can imagine. I mean, these days it's kind of a dead board.
You have no idea how much inappropriate images I've had to see in my life being a
Oh God, I
moderator
can
on M.
imagine. I can imagine back in the heyday, people flaming my car, just posting stuff nonstop.
It was bad. It was really bad. I've
Yeah.
seen every Evangelion character in every position
Uh,
a human being can
yeah.
imagine.
And then some.
Team Oscar, by the way. Um,
Uh, ooh,
yeah,
okay.
I'm putting it
Good,
down. I'm
good.
saying it.
Fair
Oscar's
enough.
best
I
girl.
respect it. I respect it. House divided though. I'm Team Ray.
Ouch. Oh, I'm. Well, that was the
You
stream,
know.
everybody. I hope you
That's
enjoyed
the
it.
stream. All right. Bye.
Guess who's
Yeah.
getting blocked? Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
Right.
but yeah. No.
Although
So,
I
anyways,
think in my old
anyways,
age, I've
anyways.
I've I've come to appreciate Misato more and more, and I'm like, you know,
Eh,
that's
I
the
I
best
feel
option,
like I'm legally allowed to
right?
have Asuka be my waifu because I first saw
No,
Evangelion when I was 10. You know what I mean? So it's like
yeah,
she was my waifu when I was 10,
it's
and it's like I'm
yeah,
grandfather, and like it never changed.
it
She's always
never
had that
changed.
spot. So it's like I feel like I'm legally allowed to say that, because it's just
Yeah,
like it's been the same for 23 years. So I'm
there you
grandfathered in. I'm
go.
legally allowed to say, well, Asuka's my waifu.
Yeah, I think it's fair game. I don't know. People who
It's
try to moral grandstand waifus are stupid.
yeah.
Also, and it's totally good to just collect Gunpla, right? That's the extent of the knowledge. I mean, like the more you get into Gundam, the better. But just doing the model kits is awesome. Yeah, and no, the Gunpla General on M does get kind of crazy.
It's such
Yeah,
a
no, some of
weird
those people
elitist attitude sometimes on M.
incredibly so. Yeah, it very much so. I mean, I love a good build. Half the time I scratch build because it's not scratch build, snap
Snap
build,
build.
just because it's a time thing for me, right? I don't have
Right.
time to put all that into a kit, but I love doing it. I want to do more and more, but it's just like you know, there's only so much you can do, and my backlog keeps growing. It's like, oh, there's Johnny, look at that. But I want to circle back to them. You said waifu. We got to talk. People people are unfaithful, right? Back in the day, okay,
Yeah.
you said somebody was your waifu. That was your wife. That
You were
was it.
committed.
There you were
That was a
committed.
monogamous
You
relationship right
it
there.
was. You posted that character and that character only. That was your profile pic for the next 10 years, right?
That was a life
Your
decision.
your signature on every forum board was that, okay? Was your wife and you defended her. Now, every season you've got it's my wife every other week. Well, they don't even say that anymore. They don't even say my wife anymore. It's grim. It's grim. We used to be a proper society,
We used to be a
right?
respectful fandom.
It used to be. It used to be. Now these kids these days wouldn't know what hit them. Wouldn't
So,
know what hit them.
so,
That and filler. Oh,
so speaking of
that grinds
waifus,
my gears.
let's talk
Yeah.
about a very waifu centric anime here.
Number one cause of divorce is new seasons. That's funny.
That's a good one.
That's
So,
funny.
following up from 79, the
Yeah.
waifu centric, very female focused, your favorite, as you've said, Zeta Gundam.
Zeta. Yeah.
What got you into Zeta Gundam? Was it just like did you already knew Zeta existed when you were watching 79? Like, were you like, as soon as 79 was finished, you got right into Zeta? Or did you find out about it afterwards? Because a lot of people don't know about Zeta initially.
They don't because it didn't get aired in America. For me, that was just the next show um that was up. And I said, okay, I'll watch Zeta next. Kind of wild, right? Because I was watching them. I watched Gundam dubbed. And I was like, oh, sure, I'll watch Zeta next. That's the sequel. Because I saw there's all the side story stuff. And I was like, well, this is the one that's like the sequel. Because I looked it up. Like, what's the sequel to Gundam? Zeta Gundam. Okay. And I just fell in love with it. Just fell in love instantly. But I had no idea, no preconceived notion, like, knew nothing about what was going to happen. And it just blew me away. And I hate to say it. I hate to say it. Forgive me. I fell for the meme back in the day. I skipped Double Zeta and I regret it. I
Ugh.
regret skipping Double Zeta. Never skip Double Zeta. If there's one message you get out of this tonight, don't skip Double Zeta Gundam. In
Double
fact, watch it
Zeta,
immediately after Zeta, as you should.
it does start a little whack, but
It
once it hits
does.
its groove, it's pretty good.
It does. You know? But I think the uneven beginning is intentional, right? It's not just
Yes.
like we're just screwing around. It's intentional. Like the melancholic ending of Zeta, it's probably the most pyrrhic we've ever seen Gundam get, right?
Right.
It's not a happy ending. Not at all. Not in the remote sense of the word, right? Like we won, but at what cost? Like there's no light at all.
I
And
mean,
I
that's
love
part
it,
of what
right?
makes it so
It's
good, though, right?
makes it so good, exactly. It's the Empire Strikes Back of Gundam, right?
Right.
It's Empire Strikes Back. Uh and then you get Double Zeta, which kind of is the Return of the Jedi, if you will, except it's just more Ewoks. You get Moon Moon. You get Moon Moon, and some people, bitch about that arc. I like that arc. It's fun. It's goofy, but it's fun. Uh, I think you just have to remind yourself it's not anime, and you'll be fine. You know,
Anime
I think people
Nine.
take it too serious. That's something that people need to hear these days. People take this stuff way too serious, right?
Right.
Like the guy talking about, how the new Gundam movie is gonna ruin the franchise, and it's actually over. And I'm like, buddy, come on. The Doom
Relax.
posters from G Witch. Oh my god, that's not my favorite by any stretch of the imagination, but like, it's not that bad, okay?
Yeah, it was like everyone's acting like the sky is falling. But you know what? In
Yeah,
another
like
way, not to get political on here,
sure,
and
sure.
Twitch, if you're watching, this is
Uh, turn
Zilla.
off.
This is Zilla
Yeah.
Master's side of the stream, not on my side of the stream.
Yeah,
So get him if this goes against terms of policy. But like, I always felt like Gundam. Like there's a lot of new fans coming in, and they're looking at stuff
sure.
like G Witch, and they're looking at X, Y, and Z, and they're complaining. And it's like, for me, Gundam has always been a very female focused, female friendly franchise. You know what I mean? Like we had
It
a
has.
transgender character 20 years ago. Like to complain Gundam is woke. Like we've already been there. We were woke in the 90s. It's like you're a little too late
Yeah,
to that discussion. People would lose their minds if Turn A came out today.
they would. And Turn A is art.
Yeah, Turn
Turn
A
A
is
is art.
amazing.
I love that show so much. So I mean, there's absolutely it's a very I would say it's a pretty progressive series, right? It always has been. Tomino is very like a very progressive director. Ironically, I
Right.
know a lot of people are like, oh, he writes women, whatever, and it's like, but did you
Well,
actually like watch the show? Have you seen how he writes men?
there's a lot of
No.
crazy things Tamino says about women in this books, but
He, yeah, in his book, yeah, well,
but at
yeah,
least
I'm gonna
politically
good luck charm.
speaking, Tamino
Yeah.
is very
Yeah, yeah.
left, extremely left. He might be one of the most left Japanese people of all time. You know, I mean, I don't
Yeah.
know if you ever read any of like his
Uh,
novels or his like ideology books, but he talks a
I
lot about like
yeah.
praising guerrilla
I've only
warfare in the Congo and like Che Guevara and stuff. So he's a
interesting.
big fan of
Yeah.
commies and socialists and all that.
Yeah.
Which
No,
to each their own.
I yeah, my reading on his is probably only the Gundam novel trilogy. I've got that copy. I've not read any of his other written works because a lot of them aren't in English, and I don't read the moon runes,
Well,
as they say back in the day.
well,
I don't think they say that anymore. But we're getting more and more in English. We're getting more and more fan translations and official stuff too, which is nice.
non-disclosure. Yeah, I can only say so many things,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
hang tight. Like just hang
yeah.
tight.
And
That's all I
I'm
could say. Hang
yeah,
tight.
yeah.
You might be
I'm
seeing
holding
some of
in.
those
I'm
things
holding in.
sooner than you know. So
Yeah. So here's hoping. Here's
here's
hoping.
hoping. Yeah.
Um, you know, personally my issues with G Witch, I think were 50 episodes anymore.